The New York Rangers and Tampa Bay Lightning will meet in the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals. This should be a very interesting series between the young, up-and-coming Rangers and the battle-tested defending champion Lightning. It's going to be a great series and should be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the matchup here and give it a full series preview. Hey everybody, so the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals are set. It is the New York Rangers against the Tampa Bay Lightning. These teams met back in 2015 in the Eastern Conference Final, but their teams are very, very different now 7 years later. This is a really interesting matchup. You've got the young, up-and-coming New York Rangers who are really getting their first taste of postseason success in a number of years, and really playing well and finding ways to win in these playoffs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been there, done that, very experienced, battle-tested, back-to-back champions. It's really a huge contrast here meeting in this matchup, and it's going to be really fun to see which one wins out. You know, is New York able to continue the magical run, find ways to win, and knock off the defending champs, or does the experience of the Lightning eventually win out and get them back to the finals for the third straight year? I'm excited to get the puck dropped in this series. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it's a fun matchup, and we're going to give it a preview here. So let's take a look at both of these teams, starting with the New York Rangers. 52 wins, 110 points in the regular season. They finished second in the Metro Division. They actually beat the Lightning all 3 times when they played in the regular season. Now, I wouldn't read too much into that. The playoffs are a whole different animal and a whole different style of game than the regular season is. However, it should maybe give the Rangers a little bit of confidence that they can beat this team and that they've done it before and that they are going to, they do have a shot. They can go in here with a good feeling that, the Lightning are a team that they know how to play against and can win against. But obviously, just because you go 3-0 against a team in the regular season doesn't mean that's going to happen in the playoffs. And these teams are coming off very different second-round series. New York went the full 7 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously, the Lightning had a very short second-round series. Carolina and New York went all the way, full 7 games, very hard-fought matchup there in the round number 2. And the Rangers have actually played 7-game series in both of their first 2 rounds. So this is a team that's played a lot of hockey already, and obviously they've been able to win those game 7s. They've been able to win the series, and that's how they've gotten to where they are right now. I'm going to focus more on the playoff numbers than the regular season because we've already talked about the regular season numbers for these teams plenty of times already. So want to focus on the playoffs. 3.43 goals for per game for the Rangers, which is 5th best among playoff teams this year in the NHL. So they're scoring in the postseason, and they're scoring better in the postseason than they did in the regular season, which has been obviously a big reason why they've been able to win the way that they have. Defensively, giving up 3 goals against per game, which is also 5th best among playoff teams. Not quite as good as keeping the puck out as they were in the regular season, but there's really only been a few games that have been a lot of goals against for the Rangers, and that's kind of spiked the overall average. But there's been a lot of games as well where they've played very, very well defensively, kept the other team to 1 or 2 goals. And obviously, Igor Shesterkin, I can't say enough about the playoffs that he's having. Especially, he seems to get better as series go along as well. And that's obviously a great thing to have when your goalie's playing his best in the later part of the round, the elimination games where it matters the most. And Shesterkin's certainly been doing that for New York in these playoffs so far. Their power play has been absolutely incredible. 32.5% on the power play in the playoffs, which is 2nd best among playoff teams. Only Colorado has had a higher power play percentage. And their penalty kill, 80.5% on the PK, which is 8th among playoff teams, so right in the middle there. But still at 80%, so, pretty good there, solid number. And overall, the Rangers have just been one of those teams that's found ways to win. I think that's the biggest thing with New York is that they've found ways to win. No matter what's been thrown at them, no matter what they've had to deal with, at the end of the day, they've come away winners in both of their first 2-round series. And it's taken the full 7 games. They've been very long, hard-fought series. But New York's found a way to win. I think that's kind of the big thing with this team this year and how these playoffs have gone so far. Switching over to the other side, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning, 51 wins, 110 points on the season, same as the Rangers. They finished 3rd in the Atlantic Division, and they struggled against New York in the regular season, 0-2-1 versus the Rangers. But obviously, playoffs are a whole new ball game. Very quick second-round series for Tampa. They swept Florida in 4 straight, so they're well rested. They've been waiting a while now for their opponent and waiting for this 3rd-round series to start. So they're definitely well rested. We'll see what the rust factor is with Tampa Bay, because sometimes when you sit for a long time, it's almost too long, and you get a little bit rusty, and that usually affects Game 1. Beyond that, probably not as much, but it certainly does affect Game 1. And we'll see how Tampa's able to handle that, if it does have a negative impact on them, or if, Tampa, being the battle-tested and very experienced team that they are able to just step right into the opening game and have their game 100% back to the way that it was against Florida. Either way, they're playing great in these playoffs. 3.27 goals for per game, which isn't lighting it up offensively. The 7th best among the 16 playoff teams. But Andrei Vasilevskiy and their overall team defense and ability to keep the puck out of their net has been spectacular in this postseason, particularly against Florida in the second round. Their overall playoff number now is down to 2.45 goals against per game, which is 2nd best among playoff teams. And their second round series against Florida, the Panthers could barely score. And that is going to be a huge, huge thing for Tampa Bay heading into this series. If they can keep that up and really not allow the Rangers to get much going offensively, they could really find a way to turn this into a goalie duel, and then it becomes Vasilevskiy versus Shesterkin, and that would be an incredible battle. Power play for Tampa Bay has been okay, 22.9% on the power play, which is 8th among playoff teams. Not spectacular, but they've scored some big goals that have really helped them when they've needed them, but their power play hasn't exactly been lighting it up, but it's been good when they've needed it to be. And their penalty kill has been very, very good at 87.8% on the PK, which is 3rd best in the playoffs this year. So obviously, Tampa's numbers look very solid across the board, as you would expect. You don't make it to the Final 4 in the NHL if you aren't playing well and don't have, some good numbers to back it up. So not surprising to see that from both of these teams, but overall, I think this is just a really good matchup, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see these teams go at it. I think this is going to be a physical series. Neither one of these teams are afraid to shy away from the physicality and the rough stuff. So definitely expect there to be some animosity, a physical nature to this series, which I'm certainly going to love. It's going to be really fun to watch. Obviously, there's some very, very talented players on both of these teams, but at the same time, I think both of these teams are kind of defense first kinds of teams where, they want to lock things down in their own zone. They obviously get great goaltending from their goaltenders, who are 2 of the absolute best in the NHL, with Shesterkin for the Rangers and Vasilevskiy for the Lightning. So I think goals are going to be somewhat hard to come by because both of these teams do keep the puck out of their own net so well. But when goals are scored, I think there's going to be a lot of really big ones, and that's going to be when you need your star players to come through. And both of these teams have top guys that can do that and really, help their teams find ways to win. So I am super excited for this series. I think it's going to be a really fun one to watch. And these two teams are absolutely going to go at it. Again, I think down at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, can the Rangers continue to just find ways to win? They have that the same way that they have the first 2 rounds, or is the Magic going to come up a little bit short? And for Tampa Bay, are they going to be able to replicate the way that they played against Florida, which was a smothering game that just absolutely had Florida out of it almost right from the beginning? And they really dominated that series. Are they going to be able to do that again? I think the Rangers are going to give them a little bit more of a run for their money than the Panthers did. But at the end of the day, Tampa's got all this experience. They've been here many, many times. They're back-to-back champions. Is that going to end up winning out? Well, we're going to find out over these next 10 to 14 days or so as this series goes along. And we'll see which team's able to come out on top and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So as far as the prediction goes, I think this is going to be a great series. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. But from what I've seen from the Lightning, they're already back-to-back champions. They're battle-tested. I can't at this point in my right mind go against Tampa Bay, although the Rangers certainly have really impressed me in these playoffs. And I'm really happy to see the Rangers make the jump that they have and become the team that they have, because they went through that pretty short rebuild phase, but they did a really, really good job with it, and now they're taking it to the next level. But I just like Tampa in this one. I think the experience there for the Lightning, the knowing how to win in the playoffs and what it takes to get to the finals and win in the finals is going to win them out here. And it's been a great playoff run for the Rangers, though, but I think Tampa is going to be the one that knocks them out and finally ends the magic here for New York. And I'm gonna say Lightning in 6 games. I think the Rangers can give them a good series, but I think the Lightning are gonna just have that little bit extra, and that's gonna be enough to get them back to the finals. So I am gonna go with the Lightning in 6 here. And that is my series preview for the New York Rangers versus Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Conference Finals. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store, membership, and donations are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.